What's up, YouTube? It's Canvas, and today, I'm coming at you with kind of a different video. We're doing an album breakdown today. So, Halsey just dropped her new album. It's called Hopeless Fountain Kingdom, and I'm here to tell you guys a little bit about it. So, there's been this, misconstrued kind of vision of this album across the kind of music reviewing community, and I kind of want to address that. So a lot of people have ridiculed this album because they have heard all the hype about it being a concept album, and basically, if you don't know, a concept album is an album that is told basically like a story. It has a inspiration, and it has a plot almost, and basically you're just trying to get across something that is going on or went on or will be going on to your listeners. Now, there's been a big issue in the music reviewing community for me that a lot of people have gotten angry about this album because they don't believe that it fits that title. I'm here to debunk that. I'm here to tell you guys track by track and explain to you how this makes the album. So the first thing that we have to talk about is that the album is inspired by Romeo and Juliet. Now, a lot of music review critics are giving this album so much shit for not being based off Romeo and Juliet. There's a difference between being inspired by something and having something based on something. It's not based on Romeo and Juliet, it's inspired by Romeo and Juliet. The whole album is constructed in a way to show you the destructiveness of this relationship that Halsey's trying to tell you about, and it's in that way very similar to Romeo and Juliet's destructiveness in their own relationship. They committed suicide, for God fucking sakes. So now basically I want you guys to grab some popcorn and I want you guys to grab a drink because we're gonna go through this album track by track, and I'm gonna explain the storyline to you in case you are one of these people who hasn't caught on to it. So the first thing on the album is the prologue, and the prologue's not a song at all. It's Halsey, and she's reading aloud the actual prologue to Romeo and Juliet. Then the actual songs start with a song called 100 Letters. Now this song strategically starts at someone's end of their relationship. So it's kind of being told a little bit backwards here. It's talking about a breakup, and in that sort of way it's very similar to Romeo and Juliet, because Romeo and Juliet, when the play first starts, you find out that they committed suicide, and then you kind of have to backtrack and figure out, well, why? The third track that we have on the album is called Eyes Closed. Now, Eyes Closed is about the overall lasting effects of this toxic relationship that these two characters were in. The fourth track we have is called Heaven in Hiding, and this is kind of a nod at the reluctance of the two people kind of getting into the relationship. They both seem kind of nervous, they both seem a little bit shaky about even being together, which is also kind of a nod back to Romeo and Juliet, because both those characters were a little bit I don't know, should we be in a relationship? Should we not be in a relationship? Who knows? The fifth track we have on the album is Alone. Alone is kind of where we learn why this reluctance of the two characters is kind of happening about this relationship. So basically, Halsey's character in this song is very reluctant to meeting, and she's telling this other character, when we meet you're going to regret it, when we meet it's going to be awful, you don't want to meet me, we don't want to be together. And again, being based off of Romeo and Juliet, I'm sure that you're seeing this kind of pattern that's very similar to the play. Then we go into what I'm going to call the interlude of this so-called play that we're going through on this album. This interlude is where Halsey decides to place the song Now or Never. So this track is written from the other person's point of view, and it's kind of a response to Alone. They're saying, you're either gonna man up and you're gonna love me now, you're gonna meet me now, we're gonna be together, or we're just not gonna do this. I have to essentially draw a line somewhere in this relationship. And then we have the song Sorry, and this is basically Halsey's character responding to the previous song. She's basically saying, yeah, I did ignore your calls. Yeah, I don't want to, like, meet up. I don't want to be with you. Yeah, I don't think this is a good idea. Yeah, I'm destructive. You need someone, but that someone isn't me. Then for me, this is where we move into what I'm going to call Act 2 of this album. Act 2 for me starts with the song Good Morning. This song is very similar to the prologue, as it's not really a song, it's kind of just like an introduction. I think it's kind of meant to be like an intermission, as if you were watching like an actual play. The song kind of depicts the drama and the trouble and the issues that these two lovers are having through this entire album. It also does a good job of depicting this kind of hopelessness that Halsey's character is obviously feeling throughout this whole album. The next song on this lineup is Lie. This song kind of showcases a conversation that kind of falls on deaf ears from both sides of this relationship. One partner's talking about all the lies that this other partner's telling, and the other partner's like, well, I don't have to lie anymore, I ain't got nobody to lie to, kind of being like, you know, I don't need you anymore, I'm done, this is it. This song also kind of depicts the emotional chaos that's going to happen in the rest of the album, and it does a really good job of letting the listener know what's about to come up for the next few tracks. Walls Could Talk is the next track, and I believe it is number 10 on the album. This song kind of goes to the past a little bit and talks a little bit about before the relationship ended as well. The song really shows the side of the relationship that's really fucking crazy. The song showcases things like fighting in the back of a limousine with each other, breaking into places, and well, just utter emotional chaos. I think Act 3 is really present for me when Halsey comes in with Bad Love at number 11. She really goes into past relationships and basically names off all these people that she's been with, and basically that they all ended for some reason or another. I feel like this is Halsey's character kind of admitting that she has like an issue, that she's like, well, all these people didn't want me and I drove all these people away, so that must be why this relationship with this person also ended. Now, this part does tear away a little bit from the inspiration of Romeo and Juliet, but I think that she's done such a good job already of iterating that kind of Romeo and Juliet-esque type of feel that, you know, the last couple of songs on the album should be Halsey's and Halsey's alone. I don't think that we should rely so much on her to base, you know, her whole album off of this Shakespearean play. It's kind of ridiculous to think that an artist isn't going to put their own personal experience into their albums. And that's why I kind of made this video, because so many music critics are saying, oh, she's based her album off of Romeo and Juliet, and yet she's not even talking about Romeo and Juliet. And to me, that kind of, I think it went over their heads a little bit, what this album was trying to do, because it's not based fully off of Romeo and Juliet. Obviously, nobody's going to do that. You have your own personal experiences as a musician and as a person who writes music and writes lyrics, and no one is going to base their entire album off of an old-ass Shakespearean play. Plus, as you can see earlier, there are already so many influences. Like, why can't we just let Halsey have this little piece of the album to herself to kind of put her twist on maybe the Romeo and Juliet? Anyhow, track 12 is called Don't Play. This track kind of takes like a emotional spiral for me. She kind of says, oh, fuck you, I don't need you, I have money, I have so many other people, everything is going good for me. But I think this is Halsey's character trying to cope with her low self-esteem, kind of saying, oh, it's fine, I have money, oh, it's fine, I have all these other people that want to be with me too. But really, I think it's kind of like almost an emotional breakdown happening in this song. Next, we have the song Strangers, and this song for me kind of confirms my theory about the last track. In this song, Halsey admits to just wanting to be touched, to be loved, to feel anything at all, is what the lyrics say, which to me makes total sense here. And it seems to me like she's realizing that she wants to be loved, that she wants to love somebody else, she just can't figure out how to do it. Track number 14 is called Angel on Fire. So this track kind of reiterates what the last two tracks were iterating, and it's saying basically that Halsey's character is moving from this kind of like badass fuck you, I don't need you kind of chick to this girl who feels very cowardice and very anxious because of these past relationships and her low self-esteem. In track number 15, Devil in Me, we see a lot of this self-pity come through. She explains clearly in this song that she believes she's too much to handle. She says that she doesn't want to be this bad version of herself anymore, but doesn't really know how to stop it. And for the very last track on this album, we have Hopeless. Personally, for me, this track did a wonderful job summing up the entirety of the album and the message that was trying to be conveyed through the album. To me, it's a clear ending to this whole concept. This track basically says that she's reflected on this story in an entirety, and at the end of the day, she just wants to be less hopeless than she is at this current moment. She wants to be able to change herself. So that was my track by track breakdown of Halsey's new album. If you guys want to see a music review solely based on the music, not so much the concept, I'll have that linked down below. That'll be up today as well, and I'll have a card up here as always linking you guys to where you can watch that. I just wanted to say that I applaud Halsey's effort in this album, and I think she really went for something really big here, and for me, I was honestly really pleased with how well she pulled it off. I also really love how the album was broken into a total of 16 even tracks, and I like how the intermission was at number 8 exactly. I think it really created this kind of like play feel that she was really going for. Overall, I think some music reviewers are just giving this album a bad rap for kind of no reason, but I'll have more about that in my official album review of this album. As always, guys, if you guys like the video, please give it a like. If you guys want to subscribe, make sure to subscribe. Share it with your friends. You know, they should know about Halsey's new album. It's damn good. As always, you all are wonderful people, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.